وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. We'll carry on here inshallah with the عليكم السلام ورحمة الله with سورة البقرة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون. So we started Surah Al-Baqarah and we were not doing it like a surah from end to end. We'll take ayah and then see what the Quran said about this ayah in particular and where things similar mentioned to make the ayah more clear. So addressing here the sons of Israel. We started يا بني إسرائيل اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم وأوفوا بعهدي أوفي بعهدكم وإياي فارهبون. Remember my favor upon you and fulfill my covenant. I fulfill my covenant to you, and fear me but not only me. And then قيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة, and then تأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم. So our teachers, they said everything comes to the Christian Jew in the Quran, it's also meant to us. So we need to take lesson from that. So this is the idea of Allah Azza wa Jalla telling us about the Jew and Christian. أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم. You enjoy right conduct on people and forget to practice it yourself, and yet you study the scripture, will you not understand? So if you go to the Quran and you go to Surah Al-Saf and Surah Al-Jumu'ah, so here down Surah Al-Saf, Allah Azza wa Jalla says سبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لما تقولون ما لا تفعلون. Similar one. But they're saying now us. يا أيها الذين آمنوا. Always when Allah addresses يا أيها الذين آمنوا, He means us, the Muslims. And then why you say things and you do different. لما تقولون ما لا تفعلون. You order people to be good, but you don't do it yourself. And that's most hated by Allah Azza wa Jal. Kabura maqtan عند Allah. Maqt is very, very strong word. It's maqt. Allah Azza wa Jal used maqt when the Arab used to marry the wife's the stepmother. He called that like a maqtan وساء سبيلا. So if you go to a maqt, it's very, very big word. So he considered that really an awful thing. مقتا. كبر مقتا عند الله. هي ولا تنكحوا ما نكح آباؤكم من النساء إلا ما قد سلف إنه كان فاحشة ومقتا وساء سبيلا. So it was fahisha, indecent act, shameful act, and odious act, a maqt, and very, very, criticized heavily by Allah Azza wa Jalla. So here, kabura maqtan inda Allahi an taqulu ma la taf'alun is like really hated to Allah Azza wa Jalla. It's a grievously odious is it in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jalla that you say that you will not do. So there's another ayah in Surah Al-Jumu'ah. Allah Azza wa Jal criticized the Jew for هو الذي بعث في الأميين يسبحون لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. Just getting some paper. الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم جزاك الله خير آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل في ضلال مبين وآخر منهم ما يلحق بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. And then Allah criticized the Jewish people. And then مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا. The similitude of those who were charged with the obligation of the law of the Torah to keep it and look after it and apply it and practice it, and they didn't. Their example is like the donkey who have a treasure on his back. He's carrying important books and probably scientific books and social books, whatever, but he doesn't benefit from it. بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله. Now, if you go to again Surah Al-Imran, and ayah 110, Allah Azza wa Jalla also. He said, كنتم خير أمة تخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر والآمن أهل الكتاب لكان خيرا لهم. If you order the good and forbid the evil, you will be the best nation being introduced to mankind. So, if you go back to Surah Al-Baqarah, أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب أفلا تعقلون. So there's no point. Allah doesn't take anyone past just because of his ancestors or his tribe or his background. You have to earn your entrance to paradise yourself. So stop ordering people to be good and you're not doing it. So if you go to the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ criticized this behavior, and in this hadith the Prophet ﷺ said, رأيت لولاة أسري البيئة, when he went to Isra and Mi'raj, when he was taken, he saw men, their lips were like breast with iron bars, and they are from heated iron bars, from nar. He said, who are these people? My brother Jibril. And Jibril said, هؤلاء خطباء أمتك. They are those who give khutbah, who give speeches and teach from your ummah and order the people to be good, and they forget themselves while they're reading the Quran. There's plenty of them, subhanAllah. You go, it's not enough that you have a teacher. You need really to travel with him and eat with him and deal with him, because you need really to know that he's sincere. You don't want to take your knowledge from somebody who's careless about Allah Azza wa Jalla, because what transmitted the spiritual teaching, the Prophet ﷺ, when he became prophet, there were no Quran, few ayahs, but people spiritually believed, because the spiritual belief of Muhammad ﷺ was shining around, and people were seeing his truthfulness, his sincerity, his mighty behavior, his keenness, and blah blah blah, and they become attracted to Islam, and that actually became like a tree. He transmitted that to the Sahaba, and then Tabi'in to Tabi'in, and Alhamdulillah, I came from a tree. My teacher and his teacher and this teacher goes straight to the Prophet ﷺ. So you have communication, contact, and education by somebody spiritually linked to the Prophet ﷺ and to Jibreel and to Allah Azza wa Jal. So you need, because otherwise you will be with a teacher, and subhanAllah, there's many of those who take that the goal justify the means. In Islam is not. For the sake of doing this, you lie to people, you make tricks on people. No. If you are in the army, in the battlefield, yes. But he's not your enemy, he's Muslim brother, he's Muslim sister. Oh, he's peaceful Jewish neighbor or Christian neighbor or atheist neighbor, but he's not harming you. There's no way you need to play tricks on him. And another hadith, this hadith that Usama radiallahu anhu سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول يجاء بالرجل, the judgment, a man will be brought and he will be thrown in the hell fire, and his intestine will be cut, come out, and he will turn like a donkey turning, when they put the donkey to turn around to crush the grains and get the seed out of it. He will be turning like the donkey. برحاء فيجتمع أهل النار عليه, and people of hellfire say, what's happening to you? And we used to know you that you were ordering the good and forbidding the evil. We've known you from the previous life. And he will say, I used to order you to do the good and I never did it, and I used to forbid the munkar, the detestful, shameful act, and he was doing it. And another ayah that's in Surah Hud, كما قال شعيب. Try the handset here and see if they say press the button here and ask them to push the door. قال شعيب عليه السلام وما أريد أن أخالفكم إلى ما أنهاكم عنه. Might not work, Brother Ahmad, I don't know. So Shu'aib was saying to his people, I will never order you something and I do opposite to it. إن أريد إلا الإصلاح. I just want to make things better as much as I can. And Allah Azza wa Jal will be my guide and He will give me support. And I rely on Him and return back to Him. And another hadith about the same ayah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أشد الناس عذابا يوم القيامة عالم لم ينفعه الله بعلمه. He has all the knowledge, he will be the most to be punished the day of judgment, according to the hadith. A scientist, a man of knowledge, who did not himself benefited from his knowledge. So he himself didn't benefit. Sometimes people in this life, there might be a doctor and he doesn't get himself treated. Might be like a plumber, he doesn't repair his own house, and an electrician, he doesn't mend his own, and it's quite well known in Syria. In Syria, we say "Skafi hafi ul hayak aryan," that the one who mend the shoes, he is walking peerless, and tailor, he's not have decent clothing. So if you go back to the Quran and the ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah, أتأمرون الناس بالبر. It's important that you do as you say, and ask people to do as you do, not as you say. SubhanAllah, I found the most sensitive people to your behavior is who? Who is the most sensitive people or person to your behavior? Yeah, your children and your wife. And your wife from first day one. It's known in Syria, in Arab country, I don't know the rest of the Arab, that you promise the wife the moon. And then you come when you get married, what about this? What about that? I was told that never promise anything I can't achieve. So alhamdulillah, it has been working for me. I saw a patient in, probably I told you this story before, I saw a patient in Heartland Hospital, and she was hiding under the couch. She wasn't sitting on the couch, she was hanging in the couch from underneath. I will not come out and talk to us. So, being a psychiatrist, eventually I managed to get her out. And I didn't manage to get her out until I was asking her husband. I asked him, first he said he was unemployed, living on income support. And then he said he can't be with his wife all the time. Then she came out, started talking. He said he promised her when he went to Pakistan that he would go to Buckingham Palace, she would go to Madame Tussauds, Windsor Castle, she will go to London Bridge and see, she will go and see that. And then she's stuck in a house, in his family's house, with 7 of his siblings there, and he doesn't take her anywhere. So why you don't take her? I'm working. You just told me you're unemployed. So this is what happened. She had some what we call dissociative behavior. She just switched off. Nobody can take her. And to do that, to be disciplined, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. Get help from exercising patience and praying. I don't know how a person will exercise patience. How would you make yourself patient? It's not. How do you make yourself patient? Probably it's a gift from Allah Azza wa Jal, but where is my student?
She's a friend's house. She wants to come.
Nusayba, my granddaughter. So how would you make yourself patient? always Allah Azza wa Jal will help. Yeah, yeah. What else?
Praying.
Praying. Yeah, praying is the second one. Patient. You need to make use of patient and salah and praying. You mean praying dua, asking Allah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dua. Yeah. وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين. كبيرة إلا على الخاشعين. Those who are mindful of Allah Azza wa Jal, humble themselves to Allah. I'm not like an expert as such, but I know if you have the knowledge about something, you'll be more patient. If you have the knowledge about health and you're wide read, I used to get patients to my patient with pieces of newspapers. They read a lot and they cut newspaper cutting, and then when the internet came, they start coming with a lot of research and print out. And sometimes they come with names of medicine. It's not in use yet. And America doing this and in Europe doing this. Are you giving this drug? So when you have more information about things, you will be more able to be patient. If you have more knowledge about fractured bones, fractured, you will be more patient. I had a girl walk to the casualty in Bangor, Northwest, and she walked and she had a hit. So I said to her, Mom, better do an X-ray. We did an X-ray and there were a fracture there. So I know from knowledge that you might have a green stick fracture, you call it, like a green branch. When it's really green, you try to break it, you can't. If it is dry, you can break it. So we were fracture. I had a patient who was my sister on my ward, and she came sitting on a trolley, laughing, joking. She's very pleasant, usually, very nice sister. And she was riding her bike, fell and hit the pavement. And she wasn't wearing a helmet. So I said, we have to do an X-ray. No, I'm okay, I'm fine. And so we did the X-ray. There's quite like a large 50p fracture in the skull. And she was off work for 6 months. So although I was a psychiatrist, I was doing casualty as extra work. But because I read a lot about it. So you need, it's like your children. When my daughter had her first son, we gave her a list of 15 things to look into before she phones mom or dad. And then the list became 17. We gave Marwan 17. Now I gave Talha 20. He said, are they in hierarchy? I said, providing you leave number 20 to last, it's okay. When 20, phone mom and dad. So you have the knowledge. And then you have the knowledge, then you can take So patience doesn't come like, a gift jump on you from nowhere. You need to have really experience and exposure to things and have, prepare yourself and prepare for the unexpected and blah, blah, blah. And we went through situations when, subhanAllah, I was expecting to flare up and I didn't. And I was quite happy. I'm controlling myself. But it's obviously achievable, but you need really to work on yourself. وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. It's indeed hard, except for those who bring a lowly spirit. They are really humble themselves to Allah. They discipline themselves. They look into what Allah said. Like Allah mentioned about Surah Al-Rain, وَأَتَيْنَاهِ مِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ سَبَبًا فَأَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. Allah gave him knowledge about a lot of things, and he followed up by finding out more things about how to do. When he went to حتى إذا أتى على قوم لا يكادون يفقهون قولا قالوا يا ذا القرنين إن يأجوج ومأجوج. So he came to people, they can't understand anything. And then the story say قالوا يا ذا القرنين يأجوج ومأجوج. They told him about Ya'juj and Ma'juj, how they were destructive and doing this. So he must learn their language. Although he came, he didn't understand them at all, but quickly he learned what their language, and he understood what they're saying, and he helped them, and he built the dam between him and them and Ya'juj and Ma'juj. When the Prophet ﷺ was in Medina, the Jews were talking things in Hebrew. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he went and he said, can you go and learn their language? And he learned it in 3 weeks. He learned Hebrew. I was in Wales. The Welsh, especially the north, they only speak Welsh. When you pick the phone, they will ask you in Welsh. Brother, Sadaqi, and I answer in Arabic, so they say sorry. We didn't understand. My English friend, they say, oh, they force us to say sorry. Sorry, I don't speak Welsh. But I answer in Arabic, and then they say sorry. So a patient came to casualty with the GP, wrote a letter in Welsh, and the casualty officer was Indian, and he didn't understand Welsh, so he wrote back in Urdu the letter back, and that was in the paper, in the newspaper. But when I did, I went to see a patient who was paranoid. She said that the staff poisoning her, but she was speaking Welsh, and she would not believe the staff telling me the right story. She thought they will twist the story and they will tell you that they are good while they are poisoning me. So obviously that's a reason for me to learn Welsh. And I went to see a patient confused, and her daughter said, no, my mother is actually fluent in Welsh, but she is confused in English because she's grown older. I went did 4 weeks intensive course in Welsh, and I went back, and I had a similar patient who said that she speak fluent in Welsh. So I started asking her in Welsh, and she's totally confused. So the daughter was shocked because I was in the hospital here, and the lady was talking to her mom on the phone. She's Welsh, speaking in Welsh to her, and then when she finished, said, "Oh, Boreda, Dr. Samson, Asian speaking Welsh in Birmingham." Well, but the idea is you have a lot of knowledge, you put time and effort, and you will become patient, become experienced, and those who يظنون أنهم ملاقون, those who are really sure they will meet their Lord. So you can make use of the sabr and benefit from it. You can make use of the salah and benefit from it. And to benefit from both, you need a lot of knowledge. You need to be humble to Allah Azza wa Jal. You need to be committed to Allah Azza wa Jal. And you need to trust Allah that you will go back to Him and meet Him. You're certainly going to meet your Lord. So He's seeing you, what you're doing all the time, and recording. So and He's saying, "Wasta'inu," you need to get help from patience and salah to practice what you teach. And you're always going to teach your children, your wife, your neighbor, your work colleagues and things. I quote a lot from my work because there's a lot of experience. I had a patient who I had to give treatment, and my staff were not patient. I said, this treatment will not work until 6 months pass. So 6 months is a long time, and they kept nagging me, and the patient isn't. So eventually, alhamdulillah, the treatment worked. And her family said, 20 years she has been very depressed. We never managed to shift her depression. So I was like in front of these staff. But 6 months I had the nagging from the CPNs and the social workers and the occupational therapists. And she lived, subhanAllah, this lady lived 2 years really happy and then died. But at least she lived 2 years. But being patient for 6 months, there is a drug, probably many of you have back pain and or knee pains or something. A drug called glucosamine and one called codentran. When I asked about it when I had back pain, and Dr. Habib Rahman told me that you have to take it at least 6 months before it starts working. And you need to be patient for 6 months to see the drug working. So, to practice what you teach, you need sabr, salah, humble yourself to Allah Azza wa Jal. You're always ready to meet Allah Azza wa Jal and going back to Him. So we will probably stop here, inshallah. And for those who came to us today new, we don't take the surah end to end. We take the verse and then search in the Quran what's written about it, and bring some hadith, and then you have exposure to like a cross section in the Quran, inshallah. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. What a wise father could advise his dear son. This is, I was listening to the meaning of these ayahs in the Quran from Sheikh Sha'rawi. And what he said, if you really want to listen to a sincere advice, what's best than listening to really a good father who is really advising his dear son, his close son. So he's not going to cheat him, he's not going to give him fibs, and he's not going to mislead him. So he will be keen that the son is actually get the real advice to get him successful in this life and the hereafter. So that was when he was discussing the meaning of Surah Al-Luqman. So the 10 advices which Luqman gave his son, first, he himself need to be wise. Wise, no matter how much knowledge you have, but being wise is the most important things probably you will have in your life. Wise is, my teacher always used to repeat them to us, repeat, because this is one of the 4 jobs the Prophet ﷺ did. يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة. So hikmah is wisdom. Some people think it's the hadith, which is kitab is part of the kitab, is the hadith, but the hikmah could be also separate, wisdom. And teaching a person wisdom is not going to be easy. Again, because you need a lot of knowledge, you need a lot of information, you need to be patient. But you need hikmah as a gift from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla said, and we'll read it in a minute, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ. We gave Luqman wisdom. And he was keen to get him to a true belief and make sure his parents are second to Allah Azza wa Jalla, and Allah is observing, plus the 8 more wisdoms. So here Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةَ أَنِ اشْكُرْ لِلَّهِ. It's a gift to Luqman. Okay. It's not a gift like Allah Azza wa Jalla give randomly. You need to work for it. من أراد الحياة الدنيا وزينتها من أراد الآخرة وسعى لها سعيها وأولئك كان سعيهم مشكورا. I want the life, next life, but he put the effort it needs. وسعى لها سعيها. So you make the effort which is requested to get the next life. The أولئك كان سعيهم مشكورا. They will be thanked and they will be rewarded. So hikmah will come after you have been believing in Allah Azza wa Jal, seeing the sign Allah the Creator, and purified your heart, presumably by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ or his deputies. Who are the deputies of Prophet Muhammad? Who? He's dead. Umar dead. Scholars. Yeah. The Prophet ﷺ said, إن لم يخلفوا درهما ولا دينار، لم يورثوا درهما ولا دينارا ولكن ورثوا العلم فمن أخذه فقد أخذ بحظ وافر. They didn't leave money or dinar or dirham, but they left knowledge, and whoever takes knowledge, he has taken a good share. And Abu Huraira was in the market. He said, you're wasting your time in the market, and the inheritance of the Prophet is divided in the mosque. So they went to the mosque and they didn't find anything. They said, what did you find? He said, there were teaching sessions going on. He said, that's the inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ. So you need يتلو عليهم آياته, purify your heart, your mind, you clean your heart and your mind, علمهم الكتابة, and then learn the Quran and Sunnah. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, أُتِيتُ الْكِتَابَ وَمِثْلَهُ مَعَهُ. You're being given the Quran and equal information with it. And also, لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ مَا نُزِّلَ إِلَيْهِمْ إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ مَا نُزِّلَ إِلَيْهِمْ. We send you the Quran, the Kitab, the book, so you explain to people what has been sent to them. So the Quran and the Sunnah is one package. So you learn, you believe in Allah very strong, you purified your heart and soul, you learn the Quran and Sunnah, now you're ready to receive the hikmah from Allah. If you don't go through this hierarchy, and then you need somebody to teach you how to use the hikmah. So doing what's needed, the right time, to the right people, in the right manner and the right way, so in the right place. So you need to teach what's right. You don't teach them fibs and things. And then in the right manner and in the right way, in the right place, to the right person. فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى. You teach if you see that teaching is going to benefit the people. So a man has been given the hikmah from Allah. He was offered to become a prophet and he declined. He's the only person in history. He said to Allah, is it obligatory? And Allah said to him, no, it's choose to be. He said, no, I don't want to be prophet. I just want to be counselor, helping people. I want the responsibility of the prophet. So he said to him, the fifth one, يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. Never associate a partner with Allah. Not even your own desires, your own keenness to get money, to get fame, to get job, to get the wife, to get the house, to get the car. Some people just sacrifice their principles for the sake of extra money. We had somebody who just a matter of a car, and want to buy a car, want to sell a car, and the car was sold in the market for £4,000. He offered us 1,800. For the sake of, he lost me because I know, and I know the market. I don't know everything, but I try to know few things which I need. So for the sake of making a couple of quids from our sale, he lost me. So لا تشرك بالله. Don't associate any partner with Allah Azza wa Jal. People now, they're not going to go and put a statue at home and worship it, although some do. I went in Riyadh, I went to see a patient in a factory, and workers, they have a statue there sitting with bald man, big fat, has got a name in India. Buddha. Yeah, they worship him. They worship him there, and I was shocked, just these guys outside, they're hitting us for go to the mosque and pray, and these people were worshipping an idol. I never thought I would see a person worshipping an idol, but I did. They were worshipping an idol. I had a nurse who was carrying like a medal, and I said, oh, you won this medal? He said, where do you win it from? I said, no, this is a barrier between me and the devil. When the devil comes, I just show him this. When they show you in the films, the cross, they put the cross and the devil bend and run away. So still people do believe. But most of the people we know, they just sacrifice the salah and the zakah and the hajj or whatever for something, a trip or something, trivial things, which might or might not benefit them. And then he take him to the next stage. ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه حملته أمه. Before we go that, the previous one, إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. The Sahaba, when they heard that Allah Azza wa Jal, if anybody commits zulm or wrongdoing, he will go to hell, and they thought, all of us do something wrong. The Prophet ﷺ said, no. The zulm Allah meant in that ayah is actually what Luqman told his son, to associate a partner with Allah. That's the greatest sin. And وَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ. Allah Azza wa Jal said, here we have enjoined man to be good to his parents, but I didn't mention the father. I said حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ. His mother carried him. وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ. Exertion upon exertion, and she also spent time breastfeeding him and nursing him till he became able even to walk or eat, and that's 2 years. وحمله وفصاله وفصاله في عامين. So أمهات is another ayah. أمهات يرضعن أولادهن حولين كاملين. The mother is expected to breastfeed for 2 years. And the research actually showed the best benefit the child could get is being breastfed for 2 years. And subhanAllah, you get a lot from the mother, the bonding become more healthy, and the milk is more nutritious and more benefit to him. Anishkur li, thank Allah Azza wa Jal, and your parents. And to me you will come back. And I always teach my children and others that for the father, probably he didn't actually carry him heavy in things, but for the mother, the child is more her investment, it seems. They act. I gave a talk here last year or something about the two women who control your life. Any of you were here? Yeah? The two women.
Wife and mother.
Your wife and your mother. And they're all both queens, and there's no king. And you move from a queen to a queen, and this will not give to the original queen will not give to the new queen. And there will be, and then, quite a long, it's still on YouTube if you want to see the presentation. But if the mother feel that this lady took her investment away, it's like all your shares gone. No dividend, you're not going to sell them, you might be in need for money, you are old, you need a hospital treatment. It's like, I was thinking of health insurance, and then they quoted me £280 a month, 3,000 plus a year. If I started when I had the quotation 20 years ago, will be like 60 something, 90,000, whatever, before we start getting benefit. Now we get ill, we go pay £100, £200, and you get see the specialist. So the mother need that time when she is old. They need the investment. Where is the investment gone? Taken by the other queen over there. And so the investment, the children for them. This is why Allah insisted that she is the one who carried you, and you have to be good to her. And the Prophet said, "Ummak, ummak, ummak, thumma abak." So it comes to 3 stress for the mother, and he's building his son. He's now teaching his son, this is what you need to do. The next ayah, which I didn't bring, even if they force you to disbelieve in Allah Azza wa Jal, do not obey them, but you still have to be good to them. Subhanallah. Somebody asked Imam Sheikh Abdullah bin Bayya, he was on a tour with Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, and he said that his brother is turned up to be gay. Should he see him and talk to him? And Abdullah bin Bayya answered, his answer was totally unexpected by me. He said, and he quoted the second ayah, he said, even if your father and mother force you to be kafir, like gay might not be kafir, he's just misbehaving, gay, because homosexual activity is like zina, all called zina in Islam, whether it's zina with a woman or a man is zina. So he doesn't become kafir with zina. It depends. If he dies while doing the zina, he might die as kafir, but he doesn't become kafir. So Allah, even if he is kafir, you have to treat him nicely. Not only kafir, he is forcing you to become kafir. وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ, they're forcing you to be kafir. Don't obey them, but be good to them. Remain good to them. وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيا مَعْرُوفًا. وَاتَّبِعْ سَبِيلَ مَنْ أَنَابَ إِلَيَّ. Go and find somebody who is actually following Allah Azza wa Jal and stick to him. وَاتَّبِعْ سَبِيلَ مَنْ أَنَابَ إِلَيَّ. You all will come back to me, and Allah Azza wa Jal will sort it out. So we'll go to the next advice. يَا بُنَيَّ إِنَّهَا, and that's the next advice. يَا بُنَيَّ إِنَّهَا إِن تَكُن مِثْقَالَ حَبَّةٍ مِّنْ خَرْدَلٍ فَتَكُنْ فِي صَخْرَةٍ أَوْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ أَوْ فِي الْأَرْضِ يَأْتِ بِهَا اللَّهُ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَطِيفٌ خَبِيرٌ. He's here raising his awareness of Allah. That's the most important to know. Allah is in charge of everything, controlling everything, seeing everything, will bring everything wherever it is. Even if it is an atom weight, the khardal is the smallest seed you could see. Even if it was a seed of khardal, and it is under a rock, or in the middle of the galaxies, or in the middle of the earth, Allah will bring it into account. Inna Allah latifun, He's so able to look into the minute, tiny things and see it, latif, and khabir, and have the knowledge. So Allah has the knowledge, latifun khabir. Ya bunayya aqim as-salata. That's the second one. So he didn't say the salah next. He made his awareness of Allah Azza wa Jal next. First Allah Azza wa Jal, your parents, then awareness of Allah Azza wa Jal, you should be next. Aqim as-salata wa'mur bil ma'ruf. So establish the prayer, order the good. Now the good you need to order is a lot. I mean, وَانْهَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. Today, we don't know the budget. They said what will happen to us here in Britain. The stock market collapsed, the pound collapsed, and things start going down the drain. So who is ordering them with the good? Who is actually able to have financial and economy knowledge and teach? I mean, when I listened to the Prime Minister herself, I didn't feel she knows anything about economy, macroeconomy. It's totally in the dark. And to go scrap the tax here and reduce the tax here, and so many taxes gone. Where are you going to get the money from? And then, so what more maruf, and people are not ordering the good in economy way, in the economy. They might talk, oh, salli, soom, but I haven't seen anybody. I sent a text message 2 years ago, or 2 years, yeah, something like this, to my families in Egypt and Syria and things. I said, buy, if you have cash, buy anything with it, but don't leave it. And the pound was around 1,000 Syrian lira, or even less than that, 500. And then those who did, they did. Those who didn't, it's now 5,000. The pound, the lira dropped by 500%. I listen and I listen to experts and things, but you don't see the imam going to the mosque talk about economy or talk about science, where direct, the student things. وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَانْهَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. Why you need to be sabir for what happened to you? مَا أَصَابَكَ, already happened. Why you need patience for what already happened, Marwan?
What's already happened, but that's what you have to.
Already happened.
Something bad might have happened.
Yeah, because you don't change. You can't change it. Already happened. If Allah didn't want it to happen, He would have blocked it. And Subhanallah, I mean, every day you come across things and events, and you see that this event, Allah wanted it to happen because He wanted a lesson learned. I mean, Marwan knows we had break in our house, and then they stole gold in the bedroom. If he turns his head like this, he will store Salah's gold, which he bought to give his wife. If he turns his head to the right, he would have stolen Abada's gold. If he went to the roof there, my wife had her purse with 500 pounds in it. He could take in that. Abada's room, there were 400 pounds on the desk. She took it and put it under the clothes, my wife, before she went. But because Salah had made some mistake, and when we came home, and there's other things he could have stolen, but it's like pinpoint theft to this item. And when we discovered everything is okay, only that item, and we know, then I knew what Allah made wrong, and Allah wanted to teach him a lesson, and I cried. I like laser, targeted. And so وَلَا تُصَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. Allah could have blocked it. So make sure you're good with Allah, so things will not, mischief will not happen. And you will be okay. So, وَلَا تُصَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ. Try to finish 10 to 9 because the Aisha 10 to 9. وَلَا تُصَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ. Don't be arrogant and don't walk, with being, showing off. And because Allah Azza wa Jalla doesn't like those who are showing off. And be polite, be steady in your walk, and lower your gaze and lower your sound, because those who shout in the market are like donkeys. And one of the Prophet ﷺ advised that do not be sakhab fil aswaq, shouting in the markets. Now, one of the things distracted my children when they went to Syria. 50 lira, 50 lira, 10 lira. They shout, 50 lira, 50 lira. They came here and they were shouting what they heard because they got to the market here, they didn't shout. And they shout when they move in the street selling, some go like From door to door they sell. So be wise. Teach him the true belief in Allah Azza wa Jal. Strengthen the belief. Parents are second to Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah is observing you all the time. Be mindful of that. You're not going to escape. Everything is counted and calculated and registered. Establish the prayers. Order the good. Forbid the evil. Be patient. Now, Omar, my grandson started praying in Adhan school, and they didn't pray in Adhan school Zuhr because they brought a lot of Asian from Birmingham because they need the money. They need more students. There isn't enough students in Solihull. So he can't go and pray because they go and they are really shouting and quite foul language and couldn't understand it. So the parents are not teaching them to order the good, forbid the evil. They're not. They're coming, and they asked us to go ages ago, 2000, when I asked us to go and help them in Solihull College, control the Asian. So we started praying Friday there. We said, and we went to did some lectures to them, and we used to give them the flyers, and we give them the flyer, and they throw it on the floor. And one or two come to the talk, or discussion, or debate, or something. Be patient. Never be arrogant, nor walk in disrespect. Moderate in your pace, and lower your voice. So that's a start, obviously, to your teaching your children, but take it from Luqman al-Hakim. So the fact that he sat his son and he said, I want to teach you this, is important. That you are acting as, a friend to a friend, a brother to a brother. It's not like, we have in Syria, they make a joke, they have, why you buy slippers? Because you want to throw it to your children. That's not what Islam wants. So you need, the fact that you sit with him is this. I sometimes do it with my grandchildren. Today I was talking to Omar, my grandson. So it's important you sit the son, important to establish the hierarchy of important things to him. And you could see the advice of Luqman are not extraordinary or something. We all know them. You just need to pass them to your son or daughter. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. If you want, you can come back after Isha and we have some discussion. I'm quite happy to come back here, but we will pray Isha, inshallah. And those who want to go, they can.